Welcome to the Jersey Score, the channel where we discuss all things sports, logos, uniforms, etc. And if that's what you're into, please subscribe and check out our content. I'm Trevor, and today we're going to be looking at the MLB City Connect uniforms. So they just made the announcement, so let's take a look at what they had to say. So let's take a look at what the article says. It says Major League Baseball and Nike this morning announced the details of their 2023 City Connect uniform collection, including the teams getting the new looks this season, as well as when we can expect to see each of them making their on-field debuts. This marks the third season of the league's new City Connect uniform program with Nike, developed to celebrate the bond between each club and its city, while also exploring the personality, values, and customs that make each community and their residents unique. The 2023 Nike MLB City Connect schedule will expand the series to include the Atlanta Braves, Baltimore Orioles, Cincinnati Reds, Pittsburgh Pirates, Seattle Mariners, and Texas Rangers. At the conclusion of those six, we will have 20 of the league's 30 clubs with a City Connect uniform in their wardrobe. Okay, great. So it says here that they're really trying to connect with the personality and values and customs of each city. But when we look at the uniforms that are already there, and you can't see the whole thing, but it gives you a sense. I mean, I look at a lot of these and I don't really understand the point because many of them are very minor changes, and I'm sure if you go on to each website, they'll go through and break down all the changes that they made and all the reason behind each little nuance on the uniforms. But when I look at it, like Los Dodgers, that just is putting Los in front of Dodgers and pandering to the very large and portion of the Spanish-speaking population in LA. And so I understand they're trying to appeal to a broader audience with that, but it doesn't look as though they've done a whole lot other than that with their uniform. Same with the White Sox. You see South Side on there, sure, but other than that, it's still black and white pinstripe uniform. So it seems very subtle. There's others that are more throwback looking. You got Angels and the Braves, which I'll take a look at that in a second. That's the latest one to announce, which, sure, I mean, that's a City Connect in a sense, but it's really just a throwback to their old uniforms. And so that's not really doing something different to reach out to and embrace a portion of the city's culture or history there, as it leads you to believe. And so I don't know. But then you also have some like you see Colorado and Space City. I mean, most of the teams, I feel like when they come up with the nickname and the colors and the uniforms, really already try to embrace the city and the state and their that they're in and incorporate a lot of that into their looks and their color scheme, etc. And so, I mean, Colorado, they're the Rockies. They already have, they already embraced that aspect of Colorado. I don't know the significance of green, but then Space City, I mean, the Astros, they already embraced that as well in terms of NASA and the tie to, space exploration. And so and the color scheme is really the same. So to me, it just looks like a regular alternate, and the City Connect doesn't really make sense in that regard. But again, then the teams that do seem like they do something a little different. Well, Washington, for example, as the Nationals, they already really embrace their city being the nation's capital, and that's inherent to their nickname and their color scheme. They do something a little different with the cherry blossoms, which is a really cool aspect of DC. And if you've ever been there during the Cherry Blossom Festival, it's really great. But or Boston, which is how this City Connect started, trying to embrace the Boston Marathon and highlight that aspect of Boston. But those no longer look like their teams, and so I'm one that when I watch my team play, I want to feel like they're my team. I mean, if I'm a Boston fan and I go in my red and blue and I show up and I'm rooting for a team that looks, in yellow and a completely different color scheme, I feel like there's that disconnect. So I guess I'm on one side. I think some of these don't go far enough. On the other side, I think those that do go far enough really kind of change the brand of the team that they're representing. And so again, I go back to I'm not really sure I understand the purpose of these, um, other than, well, if we go back to the article, and it makes perfect sense, which I'm sure many of you have already guessed and know exactly what it is. But it says, if we go on, over the course of its first two seasons, the Nike MLB City Connect series has been the most successful consumer product initiative we've ever had. And there it is, said MLB Chief Revenue Officer Noah Garden in the release. So it's all about money. It's been successful. So clearly they're doing something that fans like. Like, it sounds like a great idea, of really connecting with the city, and people are buying it. And so they're going to continue to come out with these, and they're going to continue to do alternate uniforms, as we've seen the NBA do, and other leagues too, to varying degrees. But I think MLB's really been at the forefront of, or NBA's really been at the forefront of this, with no signs of stopping. And I get it. I like a lot of the alternates. They create a lot of very cool designs. But on the other hand, it really just feels like they just kind of keep putting out new stuff because they know people will buy it. And again, if people are buying it, that means there's a demand for it. For me, when I watch my teams and when I watch them go head to head, I want them to look and feel like they're my teams. Now, this isn't as bad in baseball because there are so many games, and you'll often have multiple game series between two teams. So you could have one game where you wear something like this, whereas all the other games you'll be in maybe a more traditional or standard uniform. So you don't notice it as much. Maybe I'm just boring in that sense, but I said we'd get to Atlanta, so I do want to look at this. I mean, this is cool. It's a little spin on a throwback uniform, and mostly paying homage to Hank Aaron. So again, I don't really see how this is a City Connect. It's a great throwback, and it's great jersey paying homage to their history as a baseball team, but it doesn't really feel like a connection to Atlanta, that they did anything different there necessarily. But cool looking uniform nonetheless. So what do you think? Do you like the City Connect uniforms? Am I being too curmudgeon-y, or do you think that it's overdoing it? What are your favorite City Connect uniforms? Let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.